Hardline News.
Now, with that, Colin, I think you can kind of put that towards any aspect of life. Just be you. Don't try to be someone else.
Do the best version of you.
Just you. No one else can be you. Don't try to mock anyone else. Just be you. So a little bit of life advice there. All right. Now we're going to talk Bucs because multiple Bucs players have spoken about how Tom Brady pumped up the team before the Super Bowl last year. He sent his teammates text messages each night leading up to the game and gave a powerful pregame speech in the locker room. And Chris Godwin revealed more details about what Brady said to everyone before the big game. He said he gives this epic speech, and I think it hit a lot harder because he didn't give any pregame speeches throughout the year. So that tells you how big the moment is. He was like, this is something that your grandkids are going to be able to remember and be taught. He's just so passionate. He's been to 10 Super Bowls, and he's still just as fired up. And we're like, we got to roll. Our time is now.
And it was.
It's the Tom Brady effect. We've talked about it almost every single time he's hit a Super Bowl. He elevates people around him. He elevates
And he picks
the
his
team.
spots. By the way, he doesn't give speeches all year.
Like he said, just before the Super Bowl.
Yeah. That team is so talented. Insane.
Yeah.
They don't have any. They're literally one. They're the only NFL team to me, the only one that is just drafting for depth. Boy, that is a luxury. When you are drafting for basically, seriously, how many people could you draft at their draft spot?
Yeah.
I don't think they could draft a starter. They can't now. If they had a top 4 pick, they could. But even if they had a top 4 pick, Jamar Chase, where do you play him? I mean, think about that. Where would you play? Now, Kyle Pitts would start, but again, then you'd have to trade O.J. Howard. I mean, they are so deep everywhere.
Oh, yeah. They're the Super Bowl champs. They have Tom Brady, the best in the game, and they're going to be contenders for as long as they have Tom Brady, and no one wants to leave.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to stay there and be with Tom. So, yeah, the Tom Brady effect. He makes you better. He makes you great. All right. Moving on, Kevin Durant has been out all week after he suffered a thigh contusion last Sunday. Now, he's only been back for a handful of games after recovering from a hamstring injury, but it doesn't look like Brooklyn will be without him for long. Steve Nash said KD is considered day-to-day and could return to the court as soon as this weekend. Now, you have to remember, KD missed almost 2 months, finally got him back, then he left. Harden is now out indefinitely. Kyrie is back. And the big question is, can this team be healthy? Because the big three, Colin, they've only played 7 games together.
So I don't have it in front of me now. I'm interested to see who they'll match up with early because I do think Milwaukee and Philadelphia are tough spots for them. I don't think a team like Boston can expose some of their weaknesses. I just don't think the Celtics match up with them at all. But I think a Milwaukee-Philadelphia in the second round is problematic. I think they struggle stopping Andre Drummond. What are they going to do with Giannis and Joel Embiid? So it's size down low could give them trouble. And Philadelphia they've got length everywhere. Embiid, they got length at point guard. Philadelphia, to me, is a rough matchup for them.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have length on the perimeter. They have length down low. They're going to force you to shoot lower percentage shots. They got guys who can match up a little with KD, and that would be interesting.
And there's no way you're at your peak chemistry together with only 7 games.
Yep.
So you're figuring it out in the playoffs, which never going to be easy. All right, moving on. Devonta Smith's size has been a concern as he prepares to enter the NFL. He reportedly measured at 6 feet tall and weighed 166 pounds during his medical check. But one team that doesn't seem worried about these numbers is the Dolphins. Now, when asked about Smith's evaluation, General Manager Chris Greer said that Devonta has shown he can play at high level in the SEC, and there are a lot of smaller players that have been really good in the NFL. Colin, we were just talking about this. You got to play to your strengths.
He'll be good. The question is, will he
bulk up.
last?
He'll bulk up. He just won the Heisman. I think if he's surrounded with the right team, the right trainers, the right nutritionists to kind of get him to a weight that's manageable in the NFL, he's going to be good. He's going to be great. Plus, this conversation right here, he's hearing all of these little comments. I think it's going to add a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to want to prove people wrong and prove that he can do it and prove that he can last.
Good stuff, Alex, for the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
New York media, and you're a pretty smart dude, sophisticated dude, but when you go to New York, it was funny, Mark Sanchez told me the other day, he goes, I played at USC, so I went LA to New York, I thought I knew everything. Takes you about 4 press conferences to realize one little comment ends up on the cover of the New York Post, and suddenly you start giving stock answers. What is he in for with the New York media?
He is he is in for, oh man, you talk about, I'll say the media in New York, I would say 80% of them, 90% of the media, local media and national, has good intentions. I would say it's the 10% that you're never prepared for in college, and there's no college program that can ever get you prepared for it. They have their own agenda.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what he says, how he says it, they're going to twist it up because they have their own agenda. Why? For whatever reason, that's how they want to do their business and sell newspapers. So going back to your point about Herm Edwards and what you loved about him and he let the players just be them. This is what Zach Wilson's going to need to do. He's going to need to realize, okay, I'm going to give stock answers because that's what it's generic. It's easy. If I ever give an answer of opinion and they take it out of context or whatever it is, so what? That's just me. That's my opinion. I got to move on because I have football games to win. I have things much more important than the media to worry about than what did I say? And then, coming back to what I said and, well, I didn't mean it like this. And it was taken out of context. Like, just forget all that, man. Move on. You got to win football games because at the end of the day, if you bring the New York Jets and that football fan base a Super Bowl, they will love you forever. Ask Joe Namath. They will love you forever. You can go drunk on ESPN Monday night, and they'll still love you forever for winning a Super Bowl. So trust me, worry about that. Keep the main thing, and he'll be okay.
Yeah. Where were you on draft night? Where did you sit? Were you at home with your fam?
Yeah, we went to Dave & Buster's. I rented out a little event space at Dave & Buster's, just playing pool. It was actually really, really just low key. Because kind of like Trevor Lawrence, I didn't necessarily have a chip on my shoulder or anything like that. I just wanted to be the best. I know that everyone was knocking me for my size, and I was like, well, it is what it is. I can't grow 3 more inches, and I can't put on 15 more pounds. So, either you draft me or you don't. So, we just went. And fortunately, as I mentioned, I gave the Herm Edwards story. It came to fruition. Herm Edwards did call me, and he was like, see, I told you I was going to get you. I told you. I was like, I appreciate it.
Yep, 12th pick. Overall, first rounder, 12th pick, Jonathan Vilma, Fox Sports. Good seeing you, bud.
Likewise, Colin. Take care.
All right, John. It is interesting about that. I was talking to Ray Lewis. So you think of Ray Lewis, you think all-time linebacker, great player. But when you meet Ray Lewis, first of all, he's just thick, but he's shorter. And you wouldn't think, Ray Lewis is great, right? Ray Lewis was like the last scholarship given at Miami. So he wanted to go, I think if I recall, he wanted to go to Florida State. He was a Seminole fan, and they didn't give an offer. So he was like, okay. But they played him. And so then he goes to Miami, and he's great. But it is remarkable how many of our great athletes, Russell Wilson had to transfer in college. Joe Burrow had to transfer. Jonathan Vilma, everybody's like, you're just too light. You're too small. And he even said it there. You just start hearing that, and you're like, all right, I'm going to prove it. It is, but I love that Herm Edwards said, no, just be what you are. We're hiring you to be fast, not knock people out. And that's the good coaching. The coaches get, like, this is what you are. We're not going to try to make. It's what I've said about Ben Simmons of the Sixers. He's never going to be a great shooter. So let him be the best defensive guard in the league. Let him get 20 points, mostly at the rack, and let him be a great assist man. He's not going to be a great shooter. Magic was never a great jump shooter. Like, just play to his strengths. If I was the best defensive point guard ever at 6'10" and could get the ball to shooters, that's going to get Hall of Fame votes. If Ben Simmons plays for 12 years and is the best defensive guard for 10, he'll probably end up in the Hall of Fame. And he can't shoot in a shooter's league. Like, just let players be what they are instead of trying to reinvent them all the time. Alex with the news.
No.